Hey everybody, so today we're going to mill up more of this hickory to use as trim. And we've had this hickory milled for 2 months with it stickered, clamped down, and a fan blowing on it 24/7. See if I can get a reading. And it is down to 1.5% to 2% moisture now. And depending on where you hit it at, I've gotten readings as high as 5%, but this, there it goes, 3.1%. 3.0, 3.1. So about 3% moisture. And the way we dried that was it was stickered and put on these pallets. And then we had that fan running on it 24 hours a day with dehumidifiers running in this building. And that's got this hickory down to the level of moisture that we want to use it at, that we feel comfortable it won't change and everything as we cut this into trim and start using it. So we're gonna go out and mill up. I need at least 2 more logs of that. So about probably 2 to 3 times the amount of lumber that we've got sitting right here. And we're gonna go mill this up. Hope you enjoy the video. We'll start by checking a level on our mill. That's not good. So obviously something's moved. So we're not flat. And the rails are not level either. So I'm gonna get my 48-inch level and I'm gonna find out if the left side is straighter or the right side is, and then I'll start adjusting accordingly. So let's lower over. Oh, wow. Okay, so I've been working for a little while trying to level this mill out. The last time I used it, it was completely level. And I was having a hard time figuring out what was going on. Not sure if you can see this, but I just noticed it. If I can get my magnet not to hit. So going along here, see that bow in the rail? Then, if we can make this visible, there is a giant bow right here where this rail is bent. I don't know if the camera can really show it, but it looks like something very heavy was slammed down here and bent it. And that would definitely make the rails not line up. So I'm gonna play with this more. Okay, here might be a better view of it. Now that rail's straight, and then right when you get to this bunk, it shoots off downhill. There you go. Looks like it shows up pretty good. So since the rail's not straight, obviously I'm not going to be able to level this mill without straightening that rail. Here's another look at it. So the level's touching on this side and the level's touching on that side. See if I can slow it down and get it. There should not be a gap in the middle, which there is a pretty significant gap in the middle. So this rail has been bent. I'm going to assume it was while lacing a log on this bunk. So I'll see what I can do to fix that. But basically, it looks to me like a bunch of weight came down here. Instead of bending this, it pushed down here and was held up there. And right between these 2 points, we've got a pretty good bend in this rail. Okay, so it's pretty hot out here, but I have now, there is a slight bend in this rail, and it looks like it was probably all the weight came down on this bunk and bent this rail just a little bit. But what I did was I was able to pull this one down using, like I said, the thing. Well, actually it didn't pull out of the brace, but it did actually straighten a lot of that bend. And where I had about a 3/16 drop in this rail, it is now pretty much straight. So I don't know if you can see that, but we have pretty much eliminated that dip in that rail. And then it was just a matter of leveling everything else back up. So I'm actually pretty impressed with this leveling system. The ultimate fix would be, of course, to replace this rail that has a bend in it. But for right now, we're not building pianos, and it's certainly good enough for our project. We'll get the new blade on. Okay. Nothing in the world like a new blade. Okay, looks pretty good. Go ahead and tighten it up. Make sure it stays good. Okay, let's work it down to 22 foot-pounds. 1, 2. Foot-pounds. Now we'll spin it, make sure it's going to track right. Awesome, looking good. Okay, I think we're ready. Get a log on here. Okay, it's been a couple months since I've run this, so let me check the oil. Oil looks good. Okay, see if this thing will start. Okay. All right, let me rock it up. Okay. Yep. It ain't heavy. All right, so the camera keeps overheating in the sun. It's a pretty warm day out here. The only place that I routinely need help milling these logs is the second cut while making the cant, because when you roll that log up onto the face of the log stops, if it's not a perfectly, round log with no blurbs or anything, this was a big humpback log, but anyway, it's hard to get it to stay straight against those log stops and then also clamp them in. So I recorded Maggie coming out and putting the clamps on for me. I don't know if it recorded it because it ended up shutting off because it overheated. So hopefully that footage is on there, but we're gonna go ahead and make the second cut on this. And I'm gonna leave this camera back here in the shade. So it's a little farther away, but maybe it'll record a little better. All right, and I've also got my fan plugged in, and the reason I do that is to blow the sawdust away, and also it's just hotter than heck out here this morning, so there we go. This gas tank, being so high up in the air, is just a pain in the butt to pour in with a can. And then also, you don't want to overfill this tank because then it'll run gasoline down onto the hot motor, which is right underneath it. And it's a vented cap, which means if you fill it right to the rim, when the motor starts vibrating, gasoline's going to come out that vent and also run down onto a hot running motor. So I haven't heard of anybody catching their mill on fire, but I found that filling it with this fluid pump ends up making it easier to fill it to the level that I want to fill it to without overfilling it. And I don't have to hold a big can up in the air to do it. But I do hate these new gas caps. So, if you can see that, that is filled right to the bottom of that little plastic strainer. And then I can put this vented cap on. And it won't vibrate out or overflow. And there's not one drop of gasoline on the top of that can or tank. And so I shouldn't have run much of a risk of setting my mill on fire. Okay, I apologize, can't get much closer with the filming. The sun is just so hot out here that it makes the batteries overheat, and I can only film about 2 minutes of footage before the camera shuts off. So I'll make one more cut with this on this side up of this can, and then that will give me a good clean edge on 2 sides, and I'll start stripping the boards off. Hey everybody, so let's talk about this mill for a second. So these mills are routinely referred to as hobby mills, and that's what it is for me. So have I made money on this mill? Yeah, absolutely, because we took our property that's heavily forested and we finished our barn home interior with lumber that came completely off that mill, completely off this property. So honestly, for the investment that we made in the mill, we have more than doubled our money as far as if we had to buy the lumber that we put inside this house to finish it out. So with that regard, the reason I bought that mill and the reason that I'm out here milling today when it's pretty hot is because it's incredibly relaxing. So I don't do this for a living, and what I do for a living, this is a whole different pace, and it's very relaxing, but it's also rewarding. So that's my take on the Woodland Mills mill. I know there's a lot of people that are trying to make money with them and are making money with them, and honestly, I never have gotten a penny in my pocket from it, but I've made a tremendous amount of money with this mill as well. But again, that's not my driving factor for doing this. I've got the trees, I've got the property, and there's always a project we can do somewhere. So that's kind of my take on the mill. And today, I had a few issues with the mill. One, which like I said, I was really concerned about, was that I have bent one of the bed rails at some point while using this. And it had to have been the last big log I did, which was a big smooth bark hickory. But using just the leveling feet, I was able to get most of that out. And these boards, I just measured that one that came off the mill. They're totally as straight as any other board that I've ever cut. So, which I won't say is a perfect square, but it's perfect enough for what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm not building a piano out of that thing. I'm siding the inside of my house. So anyway, and then actually these boards are going to get cut down even further with more precision saws to make trim. So anyway, that's my take on it. Hope you enjoy the videos. Like I said, I really enjoy that mill. And if you're thinking about buying one or on the fence about buying one, I guess it would depend on your mindset. If you're looking for something that's rewarding to do, but like I said, it's not going to be something that you're going to be out there producing thousands and thousands of board foot of lumber a day and trying to sell it, I'd say these things are a great value. So anyway, for homeowners, for property owners, for homesteads like we've got here, honestly, I don't see how you can beat it for the money. So Anybody else having trouble with black flies this summer? I don't know if these are deer flies or what they are, but they've been eating me alive this morning. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one, y'all. Okay, so check this board out. And of course, we're using our new Bauer Harbor Freight sawhorses instead of our trash can and welding table. But we cut these at about 7/8. And so you can see how that fits on there. That's sucked up tight. And it's just over 7/8. But I can get my digital one out that actually can give you the number. If you come down here and look, I probably knocked it out a little bit. Okay, so there's tight. It's almost identical. So even with that rail that was bent, just using the leveling feet, look at that, slides right on. That's definitely close enough. If there was a 1/4 inch difference between one end of this board and the other, that would not be acceptable, and we'd have to figure out something. But this is almost identical. Look at these flies everywhere, though. And these were not in here this morning. These have come in as I've been coming in and out the door, but they are just swarming out there everywhere. Okay, so that is as low as I can go, which that's about 2.5, I'd say. But with our stops all the way down and our log stops or locks angled as far down as they'll go, that not the blade, but the assembly that holds the blade, just barely skim that. Now you could move that back and lower your blade down to where your blade just barely skims that. But I think that's how a lot of people end up hitting their log stops and their locks. So again, it's a hobby mill for me. It's not like I'm doing this where I have to get every single bit of wood out. And I now have a pretty nice smooth bark hickory 2x8. So I'll put that in there, and that'll pretty much be it for the day on the mill, other than clean it up. I do take an air compressor and spray off all these rails every time, just to try to keep the rust at bay a little bit with this. And then also running that fan does seem to help also, just to keep more of the sawdust blown away. And then I cover the mill. Okay, so in the barn where it's probably 20 degrees cooler than it is outside, but here are our 9 boards that we got off the mill today from that smooth bark hickory. I'm real happy with them. They're not wavy. They're the same thickness from one end to the other, and they're going to be just perfect for our use. So I've got them stacked so that the smiley face is up, which means that I've got the face that I want exposed setting up on all of these, because what we'll do is like we'll edge these two on the table saw right there, and then we're going to run all of them, the face that we want, out through the planer a couple times just to smooth it off as smooth as we can. And then we'll come over here and sticker them, stack them, clamp them, and get this fan turned on. And they'll be sitting here for about the next 2 months while they dry up. Okay, and to show you the difference, earlier in the video, I measured the water content of those boards that have been in here for 2 months with the fan on, and they were at like 5 was the highest I got. These, right, hit hold. You see that? 20.6 is what it's reading. 20.6%. So let's see what this one is. So this one that was closer to the bark was 24.7. 24.5 is what I got it held at, but I saw 24.7. So these definitely need to season a bit, and we're going to do it inside our building. All right, well, thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. If you did, drop a like, and we hope you subscribe. It really does help out, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good one, y'all. Take care, be safe.